Hey, welcome to this next video on Amazon FBA. And in this video, we're going to talk about what I think is probably the most important skill that you can develop when starting your Amazon business. And not just your Amazon business, part of the stuff that I'm trying to do throughout these videos is trying to get you in the right mindset to not treat this as a get rich quick scheme or like whatever. It's like, it's not just you're going to make $100 million or something. I know when I got started, the only thing I wanted to do was supplement my regular income and just provide for my family. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to do the same thing. And I hope, again, even if all you do is make an extra $5,000 or an extra $10,000 a month, just think about it. What's that going to do for you? So anyways, let's go with the video. The first thing that we need to do, I need to understand is how do we pick products? And more importantly is, how do you pick products that make you money? Okay, because there's a bunch of there's a bunch of advice out there that I think it's only going to get you, messed up. You're gonna like just waste your money, and and at the end of the day, that's I'm trying to make you avoid that stuff. So let's talk about the objectives really quick. So what we're gonna cover is what do you need to look for when evaluating a product. Okay, not all products are created equal. You need to learn how to source. You need to learn what's gonna sell, what's not gonna sell, what's a good niche, what's a bad niche. I'm also going to show you a quick method for evaluating a lot of products. I'm going to tell you the tools I use myself. But again, the tools aren't everything. So the methodology is important and for you to understand what it is that you're doing. And then the 7 key ingredients of a winning product. I don't know if it's 7 or 6. I think it's 6. I don't know why I wrote 7. But anyways, so let's first talk about the tools. These are all Chrome extensions. So just go ahead, download them. I'm going to make separate videos that go into detail about every single one of them. The first one's called DS, Amazon Quick View. The next one's called Keepa. The next one's called Viral Launch. And the next one's called Jungle Scout. All these tools, are what they're going to do is they're going to allow us to make at the beginning, we need to make a quick assessment whether this is a product that we want to go into or not. And if we want to do more research or due diligence in a certain product, one of the first things that you're going to need to understand is you're going to need to understand what are the tools that are going to help you do your job. Okay, and if you're treating this like a regular business, part of your job, at least at the beginning, okay, is doing as much research as possible. Don't worry about if you don't have the money. Don't worry about if you've never done that, okay? Get over that right now because there's a lot that you can do, okay? In the meantime, in order to get your mind thinking correctly so that when you're ready, okay, when you're ready to like take that shot, then at that point, you'll have everything figured out already, okay? I remember at the beginning, I would look at products every single day, okay? I would go into Walmart, Target, Michael's, online, Alibaba, Amazon, anywhere, okay? And all I was doing is I was going into like each category. I would like walk through the lanes and I would look what's selling, what's not selling. Why is this in the front of the store? Why is this, when I come into the right, to the left? All that stuff, okay? I would sign up to freaking every catalog I could find online about hobbies, everything, okay? That's the kind of mentality that you need to have when you go into this business, especially in the beginning when you're not too sure of who it is that you want to serve, what products you want to sell, any of that stuff, okay? So anyways, these tools are just, again, these are Chrome extensions, but I would suggest that you actually go ahead and, just go online and do a quick search on Google for hobby magazines, okay? Or hobby catalogs and sign up for those, okay? Figure out which niches have a fan base or kind of a lot of demand, okay? People that are into it, okay? That they love it, that they're spending money on it, that whatever it is, and this could be anything from skateboarding into like paintball, into fishing, even tractor, whatever, like people are into all sorts of things, okay? So don't, and again, we're going to cover again what makes a good niche and a bad niche, but go ahead, download these tools, sign up to everything that you can as far as hobbies go. I remember at the beginning, my parents, they would tell me I would get all these catalogs come in. I would sign up for like the most random stuff, like acne cream. I think we signed up at one point for stuff like what was it? Makeup. Yeah, like makeup, I think. So we would look through all these magazines again. I remember like that stuff coming in the mail, and like at the beginning it was weird. Later on, we just, I mean, that's just how we started the business. So I think that's a perfect way to start, and it's where you can get a lot of ideas. If If you can't sign up to any catalogs, go to your local library. Okay, they usually have catalogs that you can borrow or like see right there. And then just again, every day, I think you need to be looking at this stuff. Okay, get your mind thinking this way: what's selling, what's not selling. Here's actually a quick story. I remember, if you've never read this book, it's the book by Sam Walton, which he's the founder of Walmart. So Sam Walton, when he was creating Walmart, he would go on whenever he would go on a trip, him and his wife and his kids, they would stop at every convenience store. Okay, and again, this was before Walmart was Walmart. And he would ask and become friends with every single retailer. He would ask them, what are you selling? What's selling well? What do you have this sign outside? How are you guys promoting? And today Walmart, it is what it is. But again, I want you to have that type of mentality. You need to become obsessive about this stuff. It's not a hard business, okay? I really think you can start making $5,000, $10,000 within your first 6 months or a year. I don't want to lie to you and tell you you're going to be doing it in the next 3 weeks, okay? Stop that, okay? Don't think that way. It's only going to set you up for failure. Think about, hey, is this a goal that I have? Okay, am I going to make this work? Commit to it, and then the rest will come, okay? So, okay, the first thing, when product selection strategy, that again, this might go against the grain, but this is what's worked for me, and this is what worked for me in the beginning, and I'll tell you why I believe this stuff works. So when looking for products, and a lot of the tools that I just told you to download will tell you an estimate of what's selling and how much they're selling, but you kind of want to stay away, okay? There's going to be products in the ranges of $20,000 a month, $8,000 to $15,000 a month, or $5,000 to $8,000 a month. That's kind of how I like to divide it when I'm doing my research. And then I'm going to tell you which of those three do you think is the right niche to go in, okay? So just keep that in mind right now, okay? If we were to separate, okay, and if I was to show you a catalog, and in the catalog I'll show you, okay, these are all the products, this is how much they're selling per month, which do you think will be the right niche to go into, okay? And we're going to cover that in a little bit, okay? So first I want to tell you what not to do, okay? And I think that will give you an idea of what niche to go into, so when we go back to that question, you can answer it. So first, what not to do, okay? And we're going to talk about the large. So stay away from large niches, okay? This is why. So whenever you see something that's making $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, this usually means that there is a lot of competition, okay? And competition is not necessarily bad, but you have to know where in your business, okay, where in your timeline you are. If you're just starting out and you have a budget of $5,000, you are playing a much different game than someone who has a $100,000 budget, okay? So you can't play at that same level yet and expect to win, okay? So whenever you see something, that's $100,000, $200,000, these big niches that everyone's into, try to stay away from that, okay? You're going to try to find those niches that not everybody's into, but have a high fan base, that have a lot of buyers, but not necessarily that are super popular, okay? But the people that are into it, they're buying a lot, okay? That's what you want to be looking for. Now, the thing about large niches that most people, I think when they tell you about Amazon, they tell you look, I made $1 million, this and that. I don't care about making $1 million, okay? The first thing you got to worry about, make your first 5,000, then your next 10,000, okay? Then step up, okay? Stop thinking about the $1 million, okay? Think about $5,000. By when? 6 months. Okay, great. Well, the way to get there, I think what you need to do is you need to stay away from large niches at first. Why? There's a high chance of striking out, okay? There's a higher startup capital. Like I said, you need more money. There's a lot of players playing in there, and everybody's got, a deep bench, okay? They have a lot of money. So, again, I wouldn't start those things with $5,000. Start with, start $5,000 and then scale up. There's stronger, more skilled and experienced competition. These are probably people that have been doing this for a while. That's what large niches kind of demand. And I'm not saying you can't get there. I'm actually going to show you videos of how to get there, okay? But at the beginning, again, that's kind of what you're going to be going up against. It's also an attractive target for everyone else. So what you want is you want everybody else to keep looking that way. We're going to look another way, okay? And then we're going to find our own little niches, and that's where we're going to make money. And another thing that happens with big niches, if you don't have the money to back it up, because a lot of people are looking into it, it's going to saturate very quickly. So the people that win are only the people that can sustain the level of spend and all that stuff that goes into it, and it becomes a more involved business. Okay, at the beginning, let's keep it simple. Let's get you to your goal line, and then then we'll worry about that. And I wanted to show you, okay, just so you see how important this type of philosophy is. Here's a quote by Warren Buffett. And again, if you've never read Warren Buffett's book, I suggest you do. I'll show you something. Here's one that one of my mentors, he told me to start reading. So if you've never read this book, pick it up. It's called The Essays of Warren Buffett, Lessons for Corporate America. Take notes. Okay, I always take notes on my books. But this is a great book, just to kind of give you a philosophy of someone who's made a lot of money, and you'd be surprised by the things that he goes over there that are just simple things, pretty logical things. And if you apply that not just to your life but to your business life, in any type of business that you do, I think again, you might not become a billionaire, but we don't need to become a billionaire. Okay, like a couple $1,000,000 would do just fine. So here's this quote. I don't look to jump over 7-foot hurdles. I look around for 1-foot hurdles that I can step over. Okay. So especially investing, what you find out, especially in Wall Street, that everybody's trying to be the smartest guy. They can outsmart the market, right? And the truth, of course, is that you can't outsmart the market. That's why there's a market average. That's why there are indexes and all that stuff. But that's what everybody wants to do. Whereas the smartest people, okay, Warren Buffett, he doesn't try to be the smartest guy. He tries to look for good opportunities that no one's looking at and then stepping over those. Why? Because anybody can step over a 1-foot hurdle. The only difference is that nobody's looking for that, okay? And that's what I want to teach you to look for. Look for those easy opportunities that you can capitalize on, and then that you can scale that stuff. And again, you're not going to have competition, and you can have just a simpler life, a better life, okay? So what to look for then, okay? What you need to look for, small, medium-sized niches, okay? Like I said, that have a lot of buying potential, but not a lot of competition. Now, here's why. They're safer, okay? They're more forgiving, especially when we're learning and we're starting out. This is kind of, if you strike out, you didn't invest $50,000, okay? You're investing $5,000. That's not a big deal, okay? So yeah, more forgiving. There's a higher success rate. There's less competition, right? So there's a higher chance that all you got to do is get your product higher. And like we said, Amazon, with billions of traffic every single month, all you got to do is one category or one niche get at the top, and all of a sudden you're making $5,000-$10,000, and you haven't done much work after that. It's also cheaper to launch and scale, right? Because there's less competition. So you can it's not that hard to differentiate yourself. So we'll talk about differentiation in just a little bit, but it's not that hard to differentiate yourself. And when you can do that and deliver a great customer experience, then again, people are more willing to buy from you again. And this overall is just, it makes your business easier, and it allows you to scale. And it also allows you to build a diversified brand portfolio. And we're going to talk about that portfolio theory, especially when it comes to Amazon and your products. You want to have an increasing product SKU. But at the beginning, again, we're just going to start for one product. But if you start with these small and medium-sized businesses, I'm going to actually show you some of our philosophy, and as well in other videos, some of our products, and how we were able to scale that into not just one product, but a certain a whole SKU of products that all target one target audience. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the portfolio strategy that I was just telling you about. What you want to be thinking about, okay, and this is kind of where I want to lead you eventually, is that you want to build a portfolio yourself. So, for example, let's say you're selling fishing equipment, okay? So maybe you sell a rod, but then maybe you sell everything to do. I don't know if you know the brand Salt Life, but that's a great brand, right? So they're focused just on fishing and anything that has to do with boating and things like that, and they've created a multi-million-dollar brand. I'm not even sure. Maybe it's probably $1 billion brand by this point. But that's kind of your portfolio, right? So they have all these products that have to do with fishing and only fishing, and then they own that market. If you know Harry's shaving cream, they started just with a simple razor, and then they've kind of expanded from there, and then now they're trying to own the bathroom, right? They're trying to own that, and specifically for men. So that's your portfolio strategy, okay? But that's kind of what I want you to start building towards, and I'm going to show you when making a product decision, whether this is a product that you want to sell versus another one. I want you to have this in the back of your mind, because this is going to be one of the factors that you need to think about. Where is this going to lend itself well to a portfolio, right? Can I expand this product line into other products? Because again, the hardest sell is the hardest sell is the first one. But once you make that first sale, once you deliver a good customer experience, the next sale becomes a lot easier. So if you have a portfolio strategy, you can really scale your business to way past, the $5,000 or $10,000, and that's when we're talking about $100,000 or even $1 million, or whatever your vision is for yourself. So yeah, again, it makes it easier to combine these products into one brand, and the portfolio strategy allows you to do that, to create that brand. So again, if you just think about anything, any brands that you might like yourself, like Nike, or like Salt Life, or anything like that, Apple, for example, like just like let's go bigger, but they all have, right, they've all targeted a niche, and then they dominate that niche. And Amazon is a perfect place for you to think this way, and for you to have, again, a store in the biggest storefront in the world, right? So aim to get $50,000 to $100,000 with a brand, with like 10 to 20 products. That's what I'm going to be teaching you. That's a strategy that we're going to build towards, okay? So I'm going to show you how to start picking your products. But again, the first thing that we got to think about is, can this grow to eventually have 10, 20 products? Because once you have 10, 20 products that are making $5,000 to $10,000, all of a sudden you're making $100,000 a month, and now you can really, live the life you want. And believe it or not, it's not that hard. Okay, it's not that hard if you follow these strategies. So you'll target a specific customer. I'm gonna talk about a little bit in other videos about how to pick your customer avatar. Once you find a winning product and you know that it can scale, how do you start honing your brand and like scaling that up? And also, it's a much lower risk and more sustainable, simply for this reason. So like, let's say that one of your products is doing well, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, like customer affinity changes, and like there's a new product on the market, a new brand, whatever, something might happen. But if you have 10 products selling or 20 products, if one does bad, it doesn't affect your whole bottom line, right? Because you still have another 9 that are selling well, right? So we want to diversify in that sense, and the portfolio strategy is what's going to allow you to do that. Okay, so now let's talk about the 6 key ingredients of a winning product, and what, when you're actually going to go out there and figure out what product to sell, what do you need to look for within each individual product? So the first thing that we want to analyze is demand, right? Is there demand for this product, and how much demand? The next thing we want to look for is competition. Is there a lot of competition in this niche? Do we have to compete against a lot of people? Are they sophisticated? Are we gonna have to spend a lot of money to just test out our ideas? So that's the first thing. The next thing is improvability. Is this a niche that we can come in and deliver a better experience than what's currently being delivered, right? Can we do a better job in that? And this is, I think this is the place where you have the biggest leverage. And if you really deliver a great customer experience, I think you're going to be just above everybody else, and I think your brand and your business could definitely scale. That's certainly how we've done it. Also, you want to look for a seasonability and trends. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just you want to know if your product is just a seasonal product, like for example, like Halloween or the holidays, or like Valentine's, one of those products. And whole companies have been built on just seasonality. But you want to know that, hey, we're going to have a few months that we don't sell that much, and then all of our sales are going to come kind of towards the end of the month, towards the end of the year, or whenever, right? But you want to figure that out. Also, brand potential, like we said, the portfolio strategy. How, can we make a brand out of this? Okay, because once in the other videos that we're going to talk about sourcing, a lot of your suppliers, they're going to allow you to put your brand on things. And if you can do that, and you create a good customer experience, and you start building that relationship with your customers, as you should, and that's we're going to show you, then you can start really scaling your brand and like making your brand bigger, and becoming something that whenever your customers think of buying something that it's in your niche, they're going to think of you first. Okay, so that's brand potential. And then I put it last year, but it's probably the first thing, especially when starting out. You need to figure out if it's going to be a profitable product. Okay, and profitable product, again, we're going to talk about this because some products you want to have them as loss leaders. So, and I'm going to show you what that is in other videos, but like how to think about the product. So we don't necessarily need to make money from every product, but if we're not going to make money, then we need to know that our niche, it's something that that can make a lot of money, and then maybe we're gonna put some products up on the front of like that first experience, that all we need to do for that product is break even. But the whole point of that product is to get us to get our foot in the door. But that's usually when we're trying to scale bigger. This is another strategy. It's a little bit more advanced, but it's something to think about. So now let's go back to this question of demand. If you're on if you're on one of the tools, okay, and you see that there's a product there that is selling over $20,000 a month. What do you think? This is good or bad? Okay, as far as like picking our first products, yeah, this is a bad thing. Okay, we want to stay away from this at the beginning. You want to stay usually in this range, anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 a month. That's good when starting out, and even lower, $5,000 to $8,000 a month. That's great when starting out. Okay, I would say don't go lower than $3,000. And again, the reason being is this is where nobody's gonna be looking, right? So you find that sweet spot in the $5,000 to $8,000, or like up to like $15,000. You find that sweet spot, and you can dominate that niche. Okay, you can really get your foot in the door, and your product and can scale. Okay, and you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of other stuff that come with scalability at the beginning that can really that can really trip you up. So let's talk about competition. Okay, when analyzing the market and our product base, competition is a balancing act. Okay, and the way to analyze competition in Amazon, it's revenue versus reviews. Okay, so we want to know how much are people making, and how many reviews they're getting. So if there is a product, for example, that has 5,000 reviews, just don't even think about it. Okay, if there's a product over $20,000, just don't even think about it at the beginning. I'm not saying we can't go there afterwards, but at the beginning, just don't, like, it's gonna be just too hard to penetrate that market. Okay, that's not where we want to start. Okay, so again, if you see something that has a lot of reviews and a lot of revenue, that's something that we're gonna maybe table it for later on. But again, it should not stop you from doing the analysis. Okay, if you want to do the analysis, that's fine. Okay, at the beginning, the most important thing is to be looking at product every day. Look at product every day, every day, every day. Okay, get your mind, just take an hour a day and be like, hey, this is my hour to do market analysis, and then go, look at all different types of hobbies. Get at the beginning, I think we looked at product for like a year before we actually pulled that trigger. And we would look at all types of hobbies, figured out what we were trying to get into, what we didn't like, where was like a huge demand, what was a good niche, and like some of the stuff actually surprised us. So like once you get into the habit of looking at product every day, you're gonna find out, and you're gonna see patterns in different markets, and you will get an intuition of what's a good market and what's a bad market. Okay, and then also when it comes to competition, you want to look at whether this is a unique product or a generic product. Generic products, again, it's harder to get into simply because there is no differentiation between you and your competitors, right? Anybody can come in and let's say it's a race to the bottom, so like the lowest price wins. Then you're kind of like it's hard to compete. So they have a bunch of reviews. It's a generic product. You're trying to penetrate that market. I would say that's not the way to go. Usually we're trying to try to find that sweet spot between a unique product that doesn't have a lot of competition, doesn't have a lot of reviews. It's just maybe, but it has a good demand as far as there's a good user base. That's kind of what you want to be looking for. So when it comes to reviews, here are kind of the metrics I go by. If I see that the review count, it's like less than 100, that's okay. That's, I like that. Less than 50, it's even better, right? So 50 to 100 reviews, okay? That's where you want to stay. So again, those products that have 500, 600, 1,000, 2,000, stay away from that, okay? Those are going to be too hard to get in at the beginning. Also, review rating. You want to aim for products. You want to look for markets that have reviews in the 4 to 4.5. Because this is going to allow you to come in and deliver a better experience, and then get all those 5-star reviews, and then really dominate that market and scale and start making your first $5,000-$10,000 relatively easy. So and also remember this: if you differentiate your product really well, okay, and I'm going to be making other videos that talk about how to differentiate yourself, your brand, your customers, how to build this brand that actually, when it comes to the attention of your customers, they think of you. But if you really do that well, okay, then competition doesn't matter at that point. Okay, reviews don't matter. Okay, but at the beginning, when we don't have all that kind of mental real estate in our users' mind. At the beginning, this is kind of like what I would look at when it comes to review count and review ratings. So again, less than 50, that's great. Less than 100, it's okay, but it's doable. And again, a market that has 4 to 4.5 stars, that way you can come in and dominate that. Here are some great books, by the way, when it comes to how to create your own niche. That way, competition, how to make competition obsolete. Blue Ocean Strategy. Pick it up. It's a great book. And then another one by Jack Trout, which allows you to. This is a great book on positioning. How to gain that mind share in your customer's head, right? So that when they think of you, they think of your brand, okay? And then they don't even look for anybody else. Once you've delivered a great experience, they're just gonna think of you, and your brand is what's gonna come first. And then everybody else is just competing with you at that point, and you're not competing with anyone, okay? So that's something we're gonna be talking about in later videos. So evaluating competition, okay? You want to look for places that there is room for improvement, okay? And we're gonna go over in other videos when we look at the descriptions how to identify these improvements, okay? But one place is reviews. Okay, you want to look for, you want to read 1, 2, and 3-star reviews, bad reviews, to see what other products are doing bad that you can potentially make better. Okay, so read the 1, 2, and 3-star reviews. Create a Google Docs. Like start, just adding them there. And again, just do this every day. You start seeing patterns, and you will know what good products are doing, and what bad products are doing, what good brands do, what bad brands do, what good companies do, what bad companies do. And that's the intuition I want you to start getting. Also, listing quality. Do they have good images? Do they have good descriptions? Is this like an established brand, or is just someone that's like an amateur? Okay, I want you guys to not be amateurs, right? So that's what we talked about at the beginning. Treating this like a business. Okay, don't treat this as just like a fly-by-night thing. Think, 1, 2, 3 years. Where do you want to be? And is this the place you want to be? If it's not, then just stop watching. Like don't even like try to get your foot in the door, because it does take investment. Okay, it does take time. And I love it personally, right? Because it's giving me the lifestyle I want. I'm free. I get to travel. I get to, be with my family. And again, I get to do what I want during my day. But again, you got to decide that for yourself. But so yeah, anyways. So also market spread. When you look at market spread, you want to look towards if there's like 1 or 2 brands that are dominating the whole market, or are there, is there an even distribution? So like 15 identical competitors that are selling around $2,000 to like, $5,000-$10,000 a month, where you can also come in and there's space for another person in this pie, or is someone kind of like eating the whole market up, right? So if you look at, for example, like running shoes, that would be really tough to get into, right? Because you got like Nike, Adidas, and like all these huge brands that are just gonna dominate. So like if you come out with a new running shoe, I'm like, good luck. But right? Like you get the idea. Like that's a really hard thing to compete against. So when there's an established brand that's eating up the market, you want to stay away from that, right? You want to look for an even distribution. That way that but at the same time that there's enough market share for you to come in. And like I said, beware of brand domination. So brand domination, for example, like let's say Salt Life. Salt Life, they also know Amazon is the biggest storefront, so they might have their own like store themselves. But and another thing is, why not have their product on Amazon too? Because there's a lot of people doing searches on Amazon, so a good percentage of their sales might come from Amazon. But the thing is that when someone's looking for Salt Life, even if it's on Amazon, and you have another brand that's selling fishing clothing, it's like you're not going to compete, right? Because they already have that mind share in their customer, and their customers are going there just to look for that product, right? So like be on the lookout for that, because there's brands that have already established this mind share. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that for yourself, but at the beginning you want to stay away from that for your first products, okay? Another thing is improvability. And improvability is different than differentiation. Improvability is, like again, look at the 1 and 2-star reviews, and that's where you're going to really see, what if I were to come into this niche, okay, as you're doing your analysis, can you improve on these things? Because if you could improve on those things that other people are doing bad, then all of a sudden you have an advantage, okay? And again, if you follow everything I've been telling you up to this point, right, then like not just are you going to have an advantage, you can really go right to the top without doing much work. Just again, read the 1 and 2-star reviews and see what other customers are not happy with, and focus on that on your product. And then again, I think you skip the queue, and you'll see your product at the top in no time. So also you want to look at frequently bought together. So look at that section of Amazon, because what this allows us to do is think of bundling, and bundling is another way to improve the user experience when it comes to e-commerce. Okay, and again, we'll talk about that in more detail later on. But yeah, just look at that section and figure out ways that you can bundle maybe other products together to improve that the listing. Okay, so the listing is not just, now you're not competing at the same level that everybody is. Now your product is different, right? And when your customer, maybe they're looking for the same thing, but maybe you have built in enough margin that you can maybe add on something else. All of a sudden, even if you're selling your product for the same price as everybody else, but you got something else, all of a sudden you've improved on the experience, and now everybody's got to compete with you. Also, ask your supplier, okay? As you start getting more and more, and we'll talk about whole sourcing in another video, but you got to ask your supplier, can I add my brand? Is there something like we can do here? Can you add something else? We'll get into more detail, but your supplier is going to be one of your best partners when it comes to selling your product and improving on your product, okay? So maybe you're selling like a china set or a table set, right? And you ask your supplier, maybe can you make it a better material? And maybe everybody's selling something that's less quality, and then all of a sudden you come to the market with a better quality product, right? And that differentiates yourselves and improves the experience overall. The next thing is bundling. Bundling is huge, especially for products that are creams, makeup, things like that. Bundling, bundling can really have you stand out when it comes to your product. Okay, so think about bundling. It's a huge way to increase your the amount per customer purchase. And if you think of like McDonald's or like any drive-through, when you buy your order, then they ask you like, do you want fries with that? Do you want a Coke? Do you want something else? That's bundling. So bundling works even for the biggest companies in the world, okay? And that's what you want to start implementing. And we're gonna go into bundling in a whole section on itself. But bundling is huge. And just think about that as you're doing your product analysis. Does this product that you're trying to sell lend itself well to bundling, right? So when it comes to improvability, this is what I think is the secret key, that especially, when you look at other amateur sellers, you can really tell when someone's doing a good job or a bad job. And it really shows when it comes to the user experience, okay? I think the user experience is the most undervalued thing. So what I would say to you is this: don't try to rush this, okay? Take your time to pick your product. Take your time to think things through, okay? And take your time to think about that user when they're going to get your product and the experience that you want to deliver. Let's say you're selling, for example, just towels, okay? Like towels, like towels that you put in your shower, in your bathroom or whatever. And maybe your towels cost the same thing as everybody else. Does it, what do you think it'll do to the user experience that every time you sell them your towel, you include in your package a little note that says, hey, thank you so much for thank you so much for buying this product. We really appreciate you. And just a little note, you have no idea how much of a difference that can make, because everybody else experience, it's just they send you the towels in a box, and like it's so impersonal, right? So you put something personal, right? You wrap it up in a nice package. You include with the towel something that they weren't expecting. Things like that can make such a difference, okay, in the way that your business grows. And I really do think is what differentiates most amateurs from people that are doing this in a serious manner. And I think if you want your business to grow and to scale correctly, I would say that user experience is your secret key, because very few people spend any time on this, and I think they squander their biggest opportunity, okay? And I don't want you to do that. So think about this. And here's an example, just to show you the contrast. Think about Disney World and just a regular town fair, right? What's the difference? So essentially you can say these are two people, okay, came to the idea that they wanted to create a theme park, okay? But Disney World, when you think of Disney World, you don't think of a theme park, okay? You think of the experience. You think of taking your kids. You think of all the movies. You think of all those feelings that come about. And essentially, when you think of a theme park, okay, just like the town fair, there is no town fair. There is no other park in the world that can compete with Disney World. Why? Because they have really thought about that customer experience. And that's what I want you to, that's the level that I want you thinking at, okay, when it comes to experience. Go far and above the Call of Duty, okay? Don't just do the bare minimum. Go 110%, okay? If you follow Grant Cardone, he's a big proponent of this. That's what 10x is all about, okay? That's what you need your business to be all about. It doesn't take much, okay? That's the biggest thing. It doesn't take much to really differentiate yourself, okay? Think about every day about your customers. Like, what could I do today to make their lives better, okay? What could I do today when I'm going to send them that product to, so that when they get it, it wows them, okay? What can we include that wasn't part of that's going to be a surprise? Like, what is it, okay? And I would say, like, look at companies that are doing this really well. Walt Disney World, companies that have affluent customers, okay? When you come into a really nice hotel versus like a motel, right? Like, you see a nice, usually a nice handwritten note, usually by the hotel manager, maybe like a gift basket with like champagne, two cups, whatever, anything possible. If they know you have kids coming with you, they might include like a complimentary movie, or they might include something like a stuffed animal. Like, little things like this make all the difference, okay? And they will make all the difference when selling online, because again, so many other people just treat this as like they're amateurs, okay? Just don't be an amateur, okay? If you just think that way, don't be an amateur. Take it seriously. You will see how you will stand out so quickly that that your business, like, getting to $5,000 should not be any issue, okay? So again, let's move on to the next point: seasonality and trend. So seasonality and trend, I think they're very great. Part of our businesses are built on seasonality. That we have, things that we only sell usually during the last part of the year. But here's the thing: with seasonality, the thing that I want you to take into account is, mostly in your analysis, you just don't want to get into a niche that you didn't think was seasonal, so you thought you were going to get the same spread of sales throughout the whole year, and then you actually find out that you have either too much inventory or not enough inventory, and then you didn't account for it correctly. Okay, so you want to make sure, ideally at first, I think it's better just to get into a market that doesn't have the seasonality built in. Just, it's another layer of complexity. You don't want to deal with that at the beginning. Here's some examples of like seasonal products: fitness products, winter clothing, campaign equipment, things like that. They're pretty seasonal. Halloween, of course, Halloween costumes. It's not just seasonal. It's like one day, right? Like, you just got to get it so right. Like, that's really hard. Again, completely doable. And if you want to get into that, it's just, I think it's just, it's okay. Just go into it with the right mentality. And a great tool for this is, of course, Google Trends. So whenever you're doing your analysis on your products, go to Google Trends, okay? Take 5 minutes and see, what's the trend line, okay? Like, look up some keywords for the product you're trying to sell, and then see if there's any trends. That, I think, will save you. Again, it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just something that you need to think about. Okay, and then one of the last points is branding potential. Again, this goes right hand in hand. If you're thinking long term, if you're thinking about that customer experience, you're going to think of your brand, okay? So think 5 years, 10 years on the line. Where do you want to go, okay? Do you want to own your niche? Yes, you want to dominate that stuff, okay? You want to dominate the mind space of the user, okay? You want to dominate that relationship, okay? And it all starts at the beginning, how you start thinking. So it really opens up a path to dominate your niche. Once you have an established brand, and once you have that mind share in your users' mind, you've delivered a good experience, then the rest becomes so easier. It's the way to think about this. It's monopoly real estate effect. Okay, so aim to dominate the top 5 listings in your niche. Okay, the top 5 listings. Okay, so if you're selling fishing equipment, you want to like own everything that has to do with fishing. Okay, or like the top 5 products to do with fishing. If you do that, then you can start like expanding out and really owning that space, okay? And it creates a great halo effect, whereas the first product will be the hardest to sell. But once you get over that hump, you have a customer that's happy and satisfied, and they keep buying stuff. What do you think they're going to think of first? They're going to think of you. So whenever you release that second, third, fourth, fifth product, it's only going to like exponentially grow, okay? So again, branding potential, huge thing to think about at the beginning. Most people don't think about this. Most people just think about, what's a quick product that we can get out there and like sell and make 5,000, I don't know, whatever, like don't do that, okay? Again, get that out of your mind. Don't think like an amateur, okay? Think like a professional, be professional. It will do you, it will serve you well throughout your whole career. And again, like think about making a real business, okay? Also, branding potential allows for cross-sells and upsells. So it allows you to just increase the customer lifetime value and the purchase value per order. That's one huge way to increase your business, and we're gonna cover that in other videos. It's easier again to sell subsequent products. It's less risk through diversification. We touched on that point earlier, because you have a larger product diversification, larger product SKU. If one product does bad, or even if you're introducing seasonality at that point, then it doesn't matter, because you have 10, 20 products that can overcompensate for any product that's not doing as well. And also think about who is buying. It's like, this is a good question to ask yourself, if when you're thinking about branding potential. Okay, who is buying this product, and what else would they be buying, right? Like, if someone's a fishing enthusiast, right, or hunting enthusiast, they're buying other stuff, right? They're not just buying a rifle. They might be buying like hunting gear. They might be buying binoculars. They might be buying boots. They might be buying, like, think about all the stuff that they're gonna be buying. Okay, they're like, are they obsessed? Okay, and do they have a place where, like, is there a brand that's been established in any of those categories? And get your foot in the door, and then supply the rest. Okay. So profitability, when you're trying to estimate profitability and you're trying to analyze this stuff, first let me tell you about the profitability loop that I go through, and then let's go a little bit more into the metrics. So I think of it mostly in 3 steps. The first thing is the estimate, okay? And this is kind of what we've been talking about, the high level stuff, okay? Follow the six things that we've talked about, okay, up until this point, those 6 points when analyzing your products, and that will give you a rough idea of if this is something that you really want to get into or not. And I would say you should be doing this every day, okay? So again, write those points down, okay? And every day you got to be looking at product, okay, and going over those points. But what this is going to essentially allow you to do is this is going to get you a first estimate, a rough idea of what are good markets, what are bad markets. But then we're going to go and dive deeper into detailed evaluation, and we're going to do our due diligence, okay? So we're going to create, I'm going to create another video for you on a detailed evaluation on all these points, and how do we actually go ahead once we have a product that we're like, okay, I think I got something here. I think I want to go into this market. I got the money. I got everything. What's the detailed evaluation so that I can really feel comfortable, okay? I don't like going into any market that that I'm not going to make money, okay? And I want to show you the same thing. So how do you make that detailed evaluation so that when you go into a market that there is demand, that you can dominate it, that you've talked to your suppliers? I'm going to show you the templates we use, everything, so that you know that you got all your ducks in order, and you can be like, yes, I want to jump into this. How much this ad's going to cost me, all that stuff. Okay. That's the next step that you need to go into after you've done your rough analysis, is your due diligence. Okay. And then we're going to talk about, obviously, supplier sourcing adjustments, and everything that has to do with suppliers, because that's a whole lesson unto itself. And then the last thing when it comes to profitability are your metrics. These are again, I'm going to show you now kind of the high level overview. We're going to go into more detail in another video, but here are the stuff I like to go and look at. I want to make sure I go into a market where at least I can get 100% ROI, and you can do this in Amazon very easily. Okay. And again, just think about, there's a lot of amateurs out there. Okay. If you just take one thing from this video, is this: don't be an amateur, okay? Decide right now you're going to be a professional. Decide right now you're going to do this for the long term. Decide right now that you want to build a brand, okay? That you're going to love your customers, that you want to give them the best experience, and you're going to serve them, okay? And again, it's not going to be impossible to make $5,000 when you're thinking that way, okay? And I'm going to show you everything you need in order to get there. So if you follow what I'm telling you, okay, and you have the right mentality, you're going to get there. So I like to go into markets that have 100% ROI. After doing all my due diligence and all that, after considering my expenses that we talked about in the previous video, and after accounting for ad spend, all that stuff, I want to make sure that after all that, I get to keep at least 20% margin. I account for taxes, expenses, ad spend, all that stuff. Okay, you got to take all these things into account, right? If you're gonna do anything extra for your customers, you're gonna add a little surprise. I need you to account for these things. Okay, most people just don't think this way, okay? So I'm going to give you all my templates, my spreadsheets, my tools, everything that we're developing. I'm going to give all that to you so you can go ahead and follow these things, okay? So again, 25% margin after PPC and all that stuff allows you, the main thing that you want to make sure that you have is a margin of safety. If you don't know margin of safety, this is something also I learned from Warren Buffett. Again, read this book. It's a great book. It's not about Amazon or anything like that. It's about business overall. But get a copy of it, okay? It's worth it. It also gives you room for like doing giveaways. We'll talk about giveaways and stuff like that, how to launch your product on Amazon after you do have your product, how to launch it correctly so that you go and you rank for the keywords that you want, and you do make your like extra $5,000, like $10,000 a month. And we're also going to talk about PPC. Again, the whole launching sequence, we're going to have videos on that, so just stick around and yeah, subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get notified when we release those videos. When we talk about selling products, you want to at least go for products that sell for like $15. Okay, that's like what you want to be selling for. Again, we're gonna be going over all the calculations of like how many sales you have to make, account for like all the fees that Amazon's gonna charge you, taxes, all that stuff. But the products that have worked well for us, they're in the $15, $20, $25 range. If you go above that, if you go into the $50, $100 range, I'm not saying you can't. But again, you got to figure out where you want to put those products in, especially if you have a large SKU set. Maybe you don't want to start with the $100 product. You start with the $15 product, simply because as you go higher up the ladder, people are going to look more for the reviews. People are like, if this is the beginning, there's a first relationship you're having with your customers. Like, they don't trust you yet. They don't like know who you are. Like, they've never had this experience with you. So by the time you like go up the ladder and you do sell them the $100 product, they've already had a good experience with you. Like, they already trust you, and like the sale is not going to be as hard. So at the beginning, I would say like, what's worked really well for us, $15 to $30 range, like around that. People don't really like look too into detail like they do for like higher price products. So that's worked well for us. And again, what I'm going to try to teach you is how to hit that sweet spot. So with these products, and as you scale your product SKU, so you can start making anywhere from like $5,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue. Totally doable. And again, like that's what I wish for you. If you like this video and you like what we're doing here, again, we post videos every day. Subscribe to it. It really helps us out, and also it's gonna help you out. You get notified whenever we release the video. And again, if you have any feedback, comments, if there's anything that you want to learn that we haven't covered, or whatever you want to say, you don't like my accent, you don't like whatever, just put it in the comments. Okay, we love hearing from you. If you have a product that you want us to review, if you think it's a good niche, or if you're trying to like figure out if it's something that you should get into, and you have, you're about to pull that trigger, you got $5,000, you've done your analysis, but you're not completely sure, send us an email, or like, post it in the comments. We'll analyze it for you. We'll probably analyze it here live on the show, and I'll let you know. Okay, I'll let you know if that's a good product or not based on our experience, and I'll run it like, through our team, and let you know. So anyways, hope you liked the video. See you in the next one. Take care.